During the hike, my boyfriend brought along his girl bro. There were land leeches in the mountains, so I reminded them to tape their pant cuffs shut, otherwise the leeches could crawl in and suck their blood. The girl bro looked at me with a mocking expression. Women are so dramatic, what's there to be afraid of with a little bug? Can't you be a bit braver? Not like me. I'm not scared of any bug. I was so angry I had a fight with her. My boyfriend ended up siding with his female friend and blaming me. What's the big deal over such a small thing? Yuan's right. Why come hiking if you're scared of bugs? My female sibling is giving me the silent treatment. Suja, next time don't bring such a delicate woman out with you. So annoying. I can hike even when I'm on my period. It's way more fun hanging out with the guys. They went into the mountains without taking any precautions, until the mountain leeches, drawn by the scent of menstrual blood on one of the women, surrounded us. My female friend was horrified and deliberately pushed me. I fell onto a rock, broke my ankle, and bled heavily. She just grabbed her boyfriend and ran off, leaving me there injured and unable to move. I died from being drained of blood by a mountain leech, in unbearable agony. When I opened my eyes again, I was back at the moment I had just argued with my best girlfriend. 1. Lin Sui, if you're too scared to climb, just stay off the mountain. You're even afraid of bugs, yet you claim to have hiked all over the place. Honestly, I think you're just full of it. Li Yuan crossed her arms and rolled her eyes at me. Her boyfriend, Suja, chimed in from the side. What's the big deal? It's just a bug, so what if it bites you? And it's just tangled around your pant leg. We're already running late. Why did you have to make such a fuss? As the two of them berated me, I looked down at my perfectly unharmed body and began to tremble. I've been reborn. I actually came back. My heart swelled with a towering hatred as I fixed my gaze on Li Yuan and Suja. In my previous life, Li Yuan pushed me down and ran off with Suja, leaving me with a broken bone and unable to move, dying slowly as leeches sucked my blood. They even took the communication equipment, leaving me to watch in despair as the mountain leeches covered my body, utterly helpless to do anything about it. 3 days. It took me 3 whole days to finally breathe my last. I dug my nails into my palm and forced a smile onto my face. Fine, it's late. If you don't want to do it, forget it. I'm scared of bugs. I'll wrap myself up. I took the tape and wrapped it around every part of my body when they weren't looking. I took the communication device out of my bag and slipped it into the inner pocket of my clothes. Last time, it was because everything was in the bag that they managed to snatch it all. Li Yuan tapped her foot impatiently on the side. Ugh. Women are so dramatic, scared of a tiny bug. Suja, next time don't bring such a delicate woman out with us. I can hike even when I'm on my period. It's way better hanging out with guys. Total waste of time. Li Yuan was scolding me, and as I looked at the flawless no makeup on her face, I couldn't help but roll my eyes. If Li Yuan hadn't insisted on doing her makeup that morning, we wouldn't have been running late. After we set off, I kept a steady pace, but Li Yuan had only taken a few steps before she was exhausted and had to stop for a rest. Eventually, she came to a halt in a damp patch of woods. I'm not taking another step. I'm exhausted. What's so great about this lousy mountain anyway? She found a rock and sat down. I gave her a cold reminder. This area is crawling with land leeches. I suggest you get out of here, and fast. Li Yuan said dismissively. I'm not afraid of bugs. Unlike you being so fussy, I'll just sit here. 2. Suja also sat down to rest. I alone stood to the side, constantly observing my surroundings. He took a sip of water and asked, puzzled, do you hear that rustling sound, or is it just me? A faint smile touched my lips as I thought to myself, that's no rustling, it's the sound of mountain leeches. Sensing our body heat, dropping from the leaves, Li Yuan lifted her sleeve to cool off, but the next second, she let out a scream. What is this on my arm? There's blood. Blood. Li Yuan and Suja looked around in horror. They were completely surrounded by a dense swarm of mountain leeches. Suja quickly realized that 2 mountain leeches had somehow attached themselves to his leg, and blood was streaming down from his calf. The 2 of them screamed. Suja, help me get this bug off. Li Yuan panicked and flailed her arms, while Suja, suppressing his fear, helped her remove the leeches from her skin. But as soon as he removed the leech, it immediately latched onto another part of Li Yuan's skin, refusing to come off, leaving his hands covered in blood. He got flustered and called out to me. Lin Sui, are you just standing there watching? How am I supposed to get this bug off? Come help me. I shook my hand in fear. I'm terrified of bugs. I can't do it. Isn't Li Yuan fearless when it comes to insects? Let her handle it. What a joke. In my past life, it was out of sheer kindness that I went to help, using a lighter to burn out the mountain leech, That's exactly when Li Yuan seized the chance to shove me to the ground. She claimed my lighter burned her and that it was all my fault in this life. I won't be foolish enough to take a single step closer to them. Li Yuan glared at me with fury. You're doing this on purpose, aren't you? You're just here to laugh at us. With all your experience, there's no way you don't know how to get this bug off. Suja joined in the blame as well. Lin Sui, are you really that petty? We're bleeding out here, and you're just standing there watching. I let out a cold laugh. Suja, are you really just going to sit there? Look around you. The two of them looked down. Countless land leeches were swarming toward them, covering the nearby rocks in a crawling mass. Li Yuan let out a piercing scream. Ah! She stood up and started running forward. Suja ran after them. Be careful, Yuan. I followed behind them, and after we stepped outside, Li Yuan took off her clothes. Her arms and lower legs were covered in leeches. The tick didn't hurt as it fed, and she felt nothing, until she saw her skin bleeding, and in sheer terror, she jumped up as if caught in a laser rain. Suja wasn't faring much better. His body was covered in leeches, and his pants were soaked with blood, but no matter how hard they tried, they couldn't get rid of the mountain leeches. Now, they were genuinely scared. Suja glared at me with intense hostility. Lin Sui, give us a hand already. Are you just sitting there laughing at us? I'm all bundled up, so no leeches have gotten in yet. I shrugged my shoulders innocently. I've heard that mountain leeches have a really strong grip. You need to use a lighter to burn them off. Suja immediately shouted, where's the lighter? Oh no, I gasped. The lighter's in your bag. Why didn't you grab it when you ran out just now? Suja, I'm scared of bugs. Go back and get it, please. Li Yuan looked at Suja and complained. Why didn't you take your bag? Now look, there's a whole mess of bugs in it. How are we supposed to get back? Suja looked at me. Lin Sui, you're decked out in gear. What are you afraid of? Go back and get it. 3. I immediately waved my hand. I can't do it. I'm just a delicate girl, overly sensitive. I'm nowhere near as tough as Li Yuan. I'd faint if I saw a bug, I said with a mocking tone, making Li Yuan tremble with rage. Lin Sui, you did this on purpose. You're all geared up while we're suffering. How can you be so selfish? Why didn't you warn us? I let out a cold laugh. Didn't I warn you? You're the ones who wouldn't listen, claiming you weren't afraid of bugs. Suja angrily cut me off. Lin Sui, if you don't go back, I'm breaking up with you. You don't love me at all. You're just watching me walk to my death. I pinched my thigh and burst into tears. Suja, it's obvious you don't love me anymore. You know how terrified I am of bugs, yet you still made me go back for my bag. Do you want me to die? Wah, fine, if you want to break up, then we're breaking up. I'm leaving. Wah. After saying that, I turned to run, but Li Yuan, seeing me flee, shouted in fear to stop me. After all, I'm the only one who knows the hiking trail. If I run off, they won't have a clue how to get out. Li Yuan's gaze was filled with resentment as she looked at Suja. Let me discuss it with Suja. The two of them stepped aside and began whispering, though I couldn't make out what they were saying. My guard was already up. Soon, the two of them finished talking and returned, with Li Yuan speaking up. Let's head back together, the three of us, it'll be safer that way. I furrowed my brow slightly. Seeing my continued hesitation, Suja spoke up angrily, what's the matter? You weren't happy about going back alone, and now you have a problem with the three of us going back together. You're completely fine. Lin Sui, how can you be so selfish? I swallowed my feelings and agreed, fine, let's all go back together. I walked behind the two of them. Their bodies were covered in blood from the mountain leeches, which had soaked through their clothes. The leeches writhed grotesquely, a truly sickening sight. We reached the spot where we'd left our bags. Suja slung his backpack on, and then the two of them suddenly slowed their pace, falling in behind me. My internal alarm bells went off instantly, and I slowed my own steps, but then they slowed down even more than I had. I got the feeling they were up to no good. With my hand in my pocket, I quietly hit the record button. Suja urged me, Lin Sui, hurry up. This place is crawling with land leeches. I've got a few more on me already. I turned my head and gave a faint smile. My foot hurts. I can't walk any faster. Li Yuan's expression suddenly changed. What are you still talking to her for? A man being this wishy-washy. Do I have to step in myself? Li Yuan rushed forward and shoved him. My gaze shifted, and I passed by her, her hand brushing against my shoulder. Suddenly, an idea struck me, and I fell backward with the momentum. Then, I let out a scream. Ow, my foot. Li Yuan, why did you push me? Suja, I can't move. I think it's broken. My foot hurts so much. I cried out in feigned agony. Suja looked at me and sneered, "You deserve this. Who told you to be so selfish and refuse to come back for the bag? Lin Sui, just stay here and wait to die." I stared at them in disbelief. "This is murder. How could you do this to me? Suja, you heartless bastard, you're in cahoots with Li Yuan." Li Yuan let out a cold snort. "Why are we still talking to her? Grab her bag and let's get the hell out of here." Suja came up and snatched my backpack away as I cried out in pain, "Suja, I hope you die a horrible death. Did you all plan this from the start? You're trying to kill me." Li Yuan admitted it outright. "You fool, you're not worthy of Suja at all. Once you're dead, I'll be with him. Just stay here and let the mountain leeches finish you off." With that, they departed. When they were far enough away, I stopped pretending, stood up from the ground, and brushed off the leeches clinging to my clothes. Looking at the recorded audio, I smiled. Perfect, now they have the evidence of my murder. For I walked on and soon spotted Li Yuan and Suja up ahead. The two of them were using a lighter to burn off leeches, having stripped down to almost nothing. Damn bugs, disgusting. It took the two of them a full half-hour to remove all the leeches from their bodies. Even after wiping the blood from her body, Li Yuan still felt waves of nausea. "Suja, hurry up and use the communication device to call for rescue. I don't want to stay in this damn place for even a second longer." Suja, however, did not move. "No rush, we can play for a while." Suja's gaze darkened as he looked at Li Yuan's fair skin. Li Yuan gave him a playful slap. "You devil. This place is filthy." Suja embraced Li Yuan. "I haven't tried playing in the mountains yet. Don't you want to give it a shot?" Unfazed by the leeches that had crawled over their bodies, sticky and blood-streaked, they simply clung to each other and began to devour one another. "Ugh, you pervert, I'm on my period." Suja gave a slight smile. "I've tried it before. I just love fighting through blood and fire." Before they began, Li Yuan checked with Suja. "The communication device should be in the bag." Suja nodded. "Don't worry, it's in Lin Sui's bag. I saw her put it in myself. Once we've had our fun, we'll call the rescue team to come get us." Li Yuan felt reassured. The two of them began whooping and hollering wildly in the mountain forest. "Faster. Come on, faster." Watching that despicable pair tangled up together made me sick to my stomach. As they were entangled, leeches crawled onto their skin. The mountain leech doesn't hurt when it bites, but by the time you notice, a large patch of blood is already flowing unnoticed by them. A mountain leech, drawn by the scent of Li Yuan's menstrual blood, crawled up her thigh. Li Yuan let out a little cry. "What is that? It's so itchy." Suja chuckled wickedly. "Itchy? Let your husband help you with that." Li Yuanjiao smiled. "You're so naughty." Just as I was starting to think I was going to get a sty, they finally finished. The two resumed picking off the mountain leeches from their bodies. "Disgusting," Li Yuan spat out with revulsion. "What on earth does Lin Sui see in a place like this? It's crawling with disgusting bugs." Serves her right, she can't even move. I hope these bugs drain her dry. After picking the mountain leeches off themselves, the two of them went to grab their bags. Suja opened his backpack and rummaged through it frantically. Finally, his face turned deathly pale. "Where's the comms gear?" "It's gone." Yuan, check if it's in your bag." 5. Li Yuan also rummaged through her bag, but it was empty. The two of them emptied everything from their bags, yet still found no communication device. Li Yuan's face turned deathly pale. "Where's the communication equipment? Where did it go? Without it, how are we supposed to get down the mountain? We don't even know the way." Suja also began to panic. "No way. This thing is in Lin Sui's bag. I clearly saw him put it in there." Li Yuan began to complain about Suja. "Do you even have eyes? How could you miss something this important? What are we supposed to do now? We don't know the way, we don't have any rescue equipment. How are we supposed to get down the mountain? The whole mountain is crawling with leeches. Are we just supposed to die trapped up here?" The more Li Yuan thought about it, the more indignant and hurt she felt. Suja suggested, "It's definitely that bitch Lin Sui who hid it. Let's go back and get it from her. She can't move anyway. Let's just take the comms gear and get out of here." With no other options, the two of them had no choice but to turn back and hurry. Fortunately, they hadn't gone too far. After half an hour of walking, they returned to the original spot, but at the location, they found no trace of me, because I was hiding right behind them, quietly watching their every move. Li Yuan spoke in a flustered voice. "Where's Lin Sui? Where is she? Did she run off?" Suja's face was deathly pale, but he still managed to calm Li Yuan's emotions. "Maybe we're at the wrong spot. Let's keep moving forward and see." The leeches were particularly thick in this area, and the two were soon covered in blood from bites. They had to stop and use a lighter to burn the creatures off. Li Yuan's face grew increasingly pale, looking as if she had lost too much blood. I feel awful. I don't know what's wrong, but my stomach really hurts. Li Yuan curled up on the ground, her entire body trembling. Unbeknownst to her, the mountain leech had already burrowed into her body and was now exploring its depths. Li Yuan let out a piercing scream. My stomach hurts so much. It hurts down there. It hurts. Suja had no choice but to stop and check on her. When she saw the area between Li Yuan's thighs was soaked in blood, the sheer volume gushing out was akin to a miscarriage. Suja asked in horror. Do you normally bleed this heavily during your period? 6. Li Yuan looked down and let out a terrified scream. Bullshit. It's my 4th day. There can't be this much blood. It can't be. It just can't be. Her eyes widened in sheer terror. Oh God, did that leech crawl inside me just now? The very thought filled Li Yuan with utter despair. She screamed and began hitting Suja. This is all your fault. If you hadn't insisted on doing that back then, this wouldn't have happened. What do I do now? It's inside me. I'm going to die. That thing is going to drain me dry. Suja's voice trembled, yet he refused to admit his mistake, still clinging to a sliver of hope as he spoke. Maybe it's just from straining too hard earlier, losing too much blood. It might not be a mountain leech at all. Li Yuan began to cry. Go to hell. We've never bled this much before. Great. Now we're both trapped here to die. And Lin Sui's nowhere to be found. Li Yuan was hitting Suja, who spoke up impatiently. Enough. Stop hitting me. Do you think I'm having it any easier? I'm covered in bug bites too. I even have a leech still on me that I haven't removed yet, and I'm still checking your wounds first. Besides, isn't it because you insisted on hiking even though you're on your period that attracted all these leeches in the first place? Otherwise, would we have gotten bitten by so many? Li Yuan's eyes widened as she stared at Suja in disbelief. What do you mean I insisted on hiking while on my period? You're the one who dragged me up here, saying we should take care of Lin Sui together, and now you're pinning all the blame on me. Suja, are you even a man? You're the one who messed up and lost the comms device. That's why we're stuck here. Why don't you just drop dead? If it weren't for you, I'd never have set foot on this godforsaken mountain. As they argued, countless mountain leeches swarmed around them once more. Suja and Li Yuan were covered in blood, a horrifying sight. The writhing leeches eagerly feasted on the blood oozing from their bodies. The two dared not speak further and hurried away from the eerie place. The woods rustled all around, and with every step, Li Yuan's stomachache grew sharper. A torrent of blood streamed down her thighs. Inside her, she felt only the writhing of a monstrous insect, gnawing at her very organs. She doubled over in pain, grabbing Suja's hand in front of her. I can't walk anymore. You have to carry me out. Suja had also lost too much blood from the bite and was feeling weak at that moment. Glancing at Li Yuan, who seemed cumbersome and burdensome, a sense of disdain welled up in his heart. I'm exhausted too. Can't you walk a little faster? If you hadn't insisted on resting here, we wouldn't have been bitten so badly and bled this much. Li Yuan's face trembled with rage. A leech got inside me. I'm in agony. How am I supposed to walk? You're fine. What's the big deal about giving me a hand? If it weren't for you, I wouldn't have a leech inside me. Unable to argue against her scolding, Suja reluctantly hoisted Li Yuan onto his back and carried her out of the woods. Once outside, the land leeches weren't as numerous, but those still in the woods were following the trail of blood the two had left, swarming out towards them. Li Yuan looked back at the leeches rushing toward them and began to weep in despair. Why did I ever come to this godforsaken place with you? We're going to die here. Suja was getting annoyed by her crying. How was I supposed to know it would turn out like this? I didn't force you to come, and you were enjoying yourself just a moment ago, weren't you? If you hadn't said the bugs weren't scary and misled me, I would have listened to Lin Sui and wrapped myself up properly. Li Yuan's composure shattered. Then go find Lin Sui. Go on, try to find her. Do you even think you can? We're both going to die trapped in here. Li Yuan could no longer walk another step. Her face was deathly pale, devoid of any color, almost translucent. His entire body was covered in wounds from leech bites, all oozing fresh blood. She didn't even have the strength to use a lighter to burn off the leeches on her body, but Suja stubbornly kept picking them off himself. Yet after doing all that, he didn't help Li Yuan remove the leeches from her body, because there were simply too many of them around. For every one he removed, another took its place. Moreover, Li Yuan couldn't move, and he wasn't strong enough to carry her. Suja's expression turned cold and menacing. It's you who can't go on. Not me, I still have strength left. 7. Li Yuan's pupils widened sharply. You're going to abandon me, just like you abandoned Lin Sui. Suja, you monster, you're not even human. If you leave me now, It's murder, you'll go to prison for this, Suja sneered coldly. There's nothing here, and no one would ever know I left you behind. Besides, you couldn't walk anyway. I'm just going to get help, you just wait. I'll call for help and come back to save you. After speaking, Suja picked up the bag from the ground. He left Li Yuan with not a single morsel of food or drop of water. In his eyes, the immobile Li Yuan was already a dead woman in these deep mountains. Li Yuan screamed behind him, hurling the most vicious curses. But even then, Suja didn't turn around. In the end, Li Yuan wept in despair, helplessly watching as the mountain leeches slowly covered her body. After watching that scene, I had no intention of getting involved by trying to save Li Yuan. I can't help but feel a sense of irony. All the suffering I endured in my past life is now being repaid in this one. Suja, the man I spent 6 years with, turned out to be such a cold-blooded and heartless monster. I took a different route down the mountain, deliberately staying up there for 2 full days before making my descent. To my surprise, Suja had actually come down the mountain a few hours ahead of me. While he was wandering lost, he encountered a kind hiker who helped him down the mountain. The first thing Suja did upon reaching the bottom was to go to the police. After I made it down, the police found me right away. Suja accused me of abandoning them. He said they were both ordinary people with no wilderness experience, yet I not only took their communication devices and food, but also left them stranded. This resulted in Li Yuan being trapped on the mountain, unable to move, and her current condition is still unknown. Seeing Suja turn the tables and blame me, I almost laughed out of sheer frustration. He didn't expect me to come down the mountain either, and the moment he saw me, guilt flashed in his eyes. I and Suja were temporarily placed in the hospital while the rescue team began searching for Li Yuan. The police came to the hospital room to ask me about what had happened, and I coldly spoke up, exposing the lie. I didn't abandon them. Those two tried to kill me. They pushed me to the ground. I twisted my ankle, and they thought I had a broken bone. They took my bag and left me in the mountains. I have audio evidence. I played my recording for the officers, and their expressions changed instantly. I continued recounting what had happened. After that, I parted ways with them. Once my foot felt a bit better, I got up and slowly made my way down the mountain on my own. As for what happened to Li Yuan, I really don't know. I wasn't being honest. Had I told the truth, someone with my mobility issues wouldn't have been able to follow them, watching their every move, so I had no choice but to pretend I didn't know. The police officer nodded. We will look into this matter. The next day, Suja's family rushed over. They burst into the hospital room, yanked me right off the bed, and slapped me twice across the face. Are you even human? You almost got our Suja killed. How could you lead them deep into the mountains and just abandon them there? If my son hadn't been rescued by a kind soul, he would have been eaten alive by insects. 8. Suja stood behind his parents and immediately burst into tears. Lin Sui, how could you do this to us? Li Yuan's life is hanging in the balance because of you. She never did anything to you. How can you live with yourself? Watching Suja fake crying, I felt a wave of nausea, my hands trembling with rage. They surrounded me with the whole family, and I couldn't argue back. I took out my phone to call the police, but Suja's mother rushed forward, snatched it from me, and smashed it on the ground. Pay up. If you don't compensate us with $1 million, you'll be heading to jail, you murderer. The person in the adjacent bed couldn't stand it anymore and stepped in to stop it. Let's talk this out properly. Why are you picking on a young girl like that? Suja's mother collapsed to the floor in tears, accusing me of wrongdoing. She lured my son and his friend up into the mountains, the deep wilderness, full of wolves and bears, and then she just took her things and ran off, abandoning my son. Because of her, my son's friend is still trapped up there, missing. If my son hadn't been lucky, he'd be dead on that mountain too. Suja's mother wept pitifully, and the people nearby, upon hearing of my misdeed, joined in to condemn me. How could you do such a thing, young lady? The mountain is so dangerous. How could you abandon your companion? The hospital room was buzzing with chatter, and Suja's father wore a sinister expression. If you don't pay up, we'll take you to court. I stared at them coldly and shouted for a nurse. When the nurse arrived, I yelled, call the police. These people assaulted me, smashed my phone, and they're here to cause trouble at the hospital. Call the police. Hearing that I dared to call the police, Suja's mother shot to her feet, her face twisted with rage. Go ahead, call the police. Have them come and arrest you, you murderer. How dare you have the nerve to call the police? I let out a cold laugh. I'm the murderer. I think the real killer is someone else. Mrs. Su, your son Suja has been cheating on me with Li Yuan for ages. I didn't abandon them. They pushed me down and ran off with all the food and water. Your son is guilty of attempted murder, and yet he has the gall to turn the tables and blame me. Suja, you're truly heartless. Not only did you abandon me, but you also left Li Yuan stranded in the deep mountains. If something happens to her, how will you ever sleep soundly for the rest of your life? Suja's expression flickered with panic for an instant. Stop talking nonsense, this is clearly your fault. You're the one who abandoned us. I went down the mountain to get help. What else was I supposed to do? Suja's mother charged over in a rage. You bitch, I'll tear your mouth to shreds. My eyes turned cold. I grabbed her hair and slapped her across the face. Get lost. Just then, a group of police officers appeared outside the hospital room. Seeing the police enter, Suja's mother immediately burst into tears. Officer, you have to help us. This murderer even hit me. Arrest her now. But unexpectedly, the police surrounded Suja. Suja, you are suspected of intentional homicide. You are now being summoned according to the law. Please come with us to the public security organ for questioning. 9. The words hit like a shockwave. Everyone present was stunned into silence. Suja's mother even grabbed the officer's hand. Could there be a mistake? How could our Suja possibly be a murderer? The officer ignored him, his movements cold and mechanical as he snapped the handcuffs onto Suja's wrists. I shouted out at that moment, Officer, I need to file a report. This woman barged into the ward, slapped me twice, and smashed my phone. I want to report this. She needs to pay for the damages. And so, we all went to the police station together. When I got to the police station, I found out that the rescue team had found Li Yuan's body. She was dead. Her death was a scene of utter horror. Her body devoured by mountain leeches until not a single patch of intact flesh remained, drenched entirely in blood. Leeches burrowed into her eyes, nostrils, and mouth. Her entire body was covered in the creatures. The leeches feasted on her internal organs, turning her body into their nest. Li Yuan died in extreme agony, her expression frozen in hatred even as she breathed her last. She wrote a few large characters in blood on the ground beside her. Suja raped me and left me here. He's the one who killed me. When I heard the news, I felt a moment of daze. Was my death in the last life also like this? I was taken in first for a statement, where I submitted my audio evidence, gave a detailed account of what happened, and also mentioned the matter concerning Suja's mother. I refused to settle the matter of Suja's mother assaulting me. I'd rather forego any compensation than see her avoid detention. Suja's mother remained unyielding and refused to apologize, an attitude that earned her a 7-day stay in a detention cell. The next day, Li Yuan's autopsy report came back, and Suja's DNA was detected inside her body. Although Suja insisted that Li Yuan had acted voluntarily, the facts were undeniable. She was dead, had left a suicide note, and with the evidence I provided, Suja's case was officially classified. A few months later, convicted of rape and involuntary manslaughter, he was sentenced to 12 years in prison. Suja's family wept uncontrollably on the day of the trial. Suja himself was also crying, his face contorted in anguish, repeatedly protesting his innocence. Just as he was being taken to prison, a man with a knife burst out from the jury box. You killed Li Yuan, I'll kill you. Wielding the knife, he stabbed Suja once. In the ensuing chaos, I took another look and realized, wasn't this guy Li Yuan's other close buddy? The courtroom descended into chaos. We were escorted out. While Suja's parents fainted on the spot, Suja was rushed to the hospital but died from his severe injuries. The loyal friend who sought revenge for Li Yuan burst into tears and laughter as he was arrested. Yuan, I finally got that murderer for you. Yuan, I'll see you in the next life. Evil will be repaid with evil. If the retribution hasn't come, it's only a matter of time. After I left, I was filled with a deep sense of melancholy. I never imagined Suja would meet such an end. Now, both of the killers responsible for my death have been punished. I've finally stepped out of that old shadow and am moving forward into a new life. The end. That's all for the first story. Don't go anywhere. The next one is even better. I was live streaming a treasure appraisal when I got connected to a food vlogger. He asked me to guess what kind of animal the bone he was gnawing on belonged to. I was utterly shocked. That's a dead man's hyoid bone. Where did you get this? The mukbanger panicked. Impossible. This is the takeout I ordered. I asked him for the restaurant's address, but he said he'd forgotten. Then, 5 minutes later, someone knocked on my door. Hello. Your food delivery has arrived, but I definitely didn't order takeout. 1. My name is Morong Yu, a student majoring in archaeology at Beijing University, and also a well-known live-streaming internet celebrity. In my spare time, I do live-stream treasure appraisals online to earn a bit of pocket money. That day, as usual, I fired up my live stream, the screen flickered, And the camera revealed an enormous bowl of buldakbakiam mayan, spicy fire chicken noodles. The plate was bigger than my wash basin, piled high. The noodles were smothered in a thick layer of melted cheese, topped with a long strip of crispy pork belly, a few pieces of fried chicken, and a huge heap of braised pork belly glistening in its rich, dark sauce. A bespectacled young man suddenly popped out from under the table. Wow, I'm connected, Mu Rongyue. I'm your fan. My name is Zhu Ge. Brother Zhu waved at me excitedly. I smiled politely in return, but my eyes were glued to the pile of food, my mouth watering uncontrollably. This is so addictive, watching food vlogs at 11:30 p.m., and my diet is definitely going to fall apart today. Bullet comments. Can you believe it? I was trying to curb my appetite by watching some weird, niche streamers, and I still managed to stumble upon a mukbang. Same here, the person above me. My stomach is rumbling louder than thunder. Brother Pig glanced at the barrage of comments, snickered to himself, and reached for a piece of fried chicken. Moronyu, are you hungry or not? If you are, just say the word. We're like family here. I'll eat it right in front of you. With that, he stuffed the fried chicken into his mouth. Crunch crunch, the crispy chicken skin crunches audibly between my teeth, with its savory aroma seeming to drift right through the screen. I can barely hold back my drool. Hello, Brother Zhu. Do you have anything you'd like me to appraise? Across the screen, Brother Zhu deftly clicked the link to the treasure appraisal service priced at 1,800 yuan, then went right back to slurping his spicy chicken noodles. Slurp, I don't have anything to appraise, just here to soak up some attention. Slurp, ever since my livestream channel took off, smaller streamers often connect with me, asking me to appraise random items, mostly just to ride the coattails of my popularity. It's a win-win situation, and since Brother Zhu put it so plainly, I don't mind at all. Got it, but I can't take payment for nothing. By the rules, you still need to hand over an item. Anything goes. Calligraphy, paintings, porcelain, or jewelry. Oh, I see. Brother Pig's eyes darted around, then he suddenly picked up the fried chicken bone he'd just finished gnawing on. Then, can you identify what kind of animal this bone belongs to? 2 bullet comments. Thank you for being so earnestly dismissive of us, Brother Pig. I'll take it for just 1,000. My guess is it's a chicken bone. Enough already. Stop with the cutthroat competition, guys. Brother Pig, I'll do it for free. Just mail that bone to Gansu for me to have a little taste. Major points deducted for Gansu. The livestream chat instantly erupted. I shook my head helplessly and was just about to tell Brother Pig to pick something else when my eyes swept over that bone, and I suddenly felt something was off. I sat up straight, my face serious. Peel all the meat off the bone and lay it flat on the table for me to see. See, Sister Morong really has a professional touch. That 1,800 yuan suddenly feels totally worth it. Brother Pig chuckled as he picked up the bone, took a few more bites, and gnawed off most of the remaining meat. Then he grabbed a couple of wet wipes from the side and wiped the bone clean. Is this good enough? The bone lay horizontally on the table, about 3 or 4 centimeters high, shaped like a semicircular character, except with protruding spurs at each of its 4 corners. Seeing the bone's appearance, my face instantly turned pale. This isn't a chicken bone. Brother Zhu clutched his chest dramatically. Hey sis, don't scare me. Did I run into a scammer? They're passing off cheap stuff as good quality. This is duck bone. Could it actually be a dead rat? My face was pale with anger, and I shook my head slowly. It's not a dead mouse, it's the laryngeal cartilage. Brother Pig breathed a sigh of relief. At least it's not a dead rat. Monkey cartilage, what's that supposed to mean? Is this vendor really going all out, feeding me monkeys? 3. The audience in front of their screens laughed along. Monkey bones, what kind of monkey? Don't tell me it's a golden snub-nosed monkey. Bro, you're gonna get locked up for this. Isn't Moronyu supposed to be an antique appraiser? Since when is she an expert on animals? What, has she tried eating them or something? Exactly, I think this streamer is totally faking it. Not even a real zoologist could identify an animal from just a few scraps of bone like that. The chat was buzzing with jokes and banter, until a user with the ID NextLifeNoMedSchool spammed a string of exclamation marks across the screen. Holy crap, could that be the thyroid cartilage? I took a deep breath. That's right, it's the largest cartilage in the larynx. The thyroid cartilage. In archaeology, aside from the burial artifacts, the most crucial aspect of studying a tomb is the examination of ancient remains. That's why most students in the field take anatomy courses. We analyze the skeletal structure to determine the sex and approximate age of the deceased among human skeletal remains. The thyroid cartilage in the throat is one of the most reliable indicators of sex. Right alongside the pubic bone and the skull, the thyroid cartilage forms the Adam's apple. In males, the anterior angle of this cartilage protrudes noticeably forward, while in females it's far less pronounced. Furthermore, this angle is roughly a right angle in men, whereas in women it's typically an obtuse angle. After I finished explaining, Brother Zhu let out a horrified shriek, clapped his hands over his mouth, and retched, "Moronyu, are you saying this is from a dead person's throat? You've got to be kidding me." Bullet comments, "Yeah, what's the streamer talking about? Who would sell dead people's necks as fried chicken? That's just ridiculous. Seriously, are you guys perverts? Is this some kind of publicity stunt?" Moyu doesn't do publicity stunts. She's been my favorite for years. I called my brother-in-law, who's a doctor, to ask him if that really is a laryngeal cartilage. Next life no medicine. Yenzi, stop hitting me. I'm watching this stream too. I swear on my 13 years of medical experience, that really is the thyroid cartilage. The barrage of comments was in total chaos. Brother Zhu was on the verge of tears, clutching a trash can and retching nonstop. It was just some random takeout I ordered. How could it possibly be human bone? Moronyu, you're messing with me, right? For this could be linked to a homicide case. The perpetrator not only committed murder but also coated the victim's neck in flour, deep-fried it, and sold it as fried chicken. The nature of this crime is exceptionally heinous, I said with a serious expression. I'm not joking with you. I can call the police right now. Hurry up and check where the fried chicken was ordered from. Seeing my serious expression, several more doctors popped up in the live chat to confirm that the bone was indeed the thyroid cartilage. No mistake possible. Zhu Ji's smile vanished instantly, clutching the trash can. He retched until his face was slick with tears and snot. Then, trembling, he pulled out another phone and began scrolling through his delivery app orders. Crispy pork belly, turkey noodles, braised pork, fried chicken. Wait, where's my fried chicken order? Zhuge swiped up and down the phone screen, his face filled with panic. Wait, didn't I order fried chicken? That can't be right. I'm sure I did. Bullet comments. Could it be a system bug that's swallowing up orders? That happens to me sometimes too. Isn't there an order slip on the bag? Pig brother, check it quick. I ordered fried chicken too tonight. I'm about to throw up. Could we be from the same place? Oh my god, if Brother Pig ate human flesh, could he get prion disease? Is that the kind of zombie virus that eats your brains? Stop, I'm seriously gonna puke. Piggy, which restaurant was it? Brother Zhu abandoned his livestream without a second thought, scrambling over to rifle through the nearby packaging. With each bag he tore through, his face grew paler and his body began to tremble uncontrollably. There's no label on the bag. I can't remember where I ordered this from. Liv comments, how can there be no order? Piggy, you didn't make this fried chicken yourself, did you? Oh my god, are we witnessing a murder scene? Piggy is a psycho killer. Exactly, no wonder he wanted Moronyu to examine the bones. He's showing off his trophies. How sick and disgusting. Rot in hell, you murderer. Call the police, hurry up and call the police. 5 Countless viewers flooded into the livestream, the chat devolving into chaos. As the follower count skyrocketed before his eyes, Brother Pig couldn't contain his ecstatic glee. Does anyone know Brother Pig's address? Should we get the cyber police to track his location first? As more and more people were about to call the police, Brother Pig finally couldn't hold back and let out a snort of laughter. Hey guys, hold on, oh man, this isn't a thyroid cartilage. I was just messing with you. Brother Pig picked up that piece of bone, tapped it lightly on the table a few times, and then gave me a thumbs up. Sister Moron, you're absolutely amazing. Just in these few minutes, I gained over 300,000 followers. No wonder you're the queen of live streaming. Bullet comments, what's going on? Are these two streamers messing with me? Damn. Wasn't Moronyu supposed to be above all that hype? Who jokes about something like this? I'm out. Yeah, that's disgusting. My dad runs a fried chicken shop. Did you even consider how this kind of stunt could hurt someone's business? That's so low. These influencers really have no bottom line. The crowd erupted in an uproar, and the barrage of insults instantly flooded the screen. Frowning, I looked at the camera in confusion. What do you mean? I don't know you, and I'm not going to play along. And I wasn't joking earlier. That really was a piece of thyroid cartilage. Zhuge shrugged, grinning mischievously as he picked up a takeout bag from the floor beside him, placed it on the table, and pulled out a kitchen digital scale. Sister Moron, I meant that as a compliment. You've got a sharp eye, even sharper than a doctor's. I knew I came to the right person. Now, take another close look at this bone for me. Is it really human? Before I could say anything, he eagerly placed the bone on the digital scale and weighed it for us to see. It's fake, made of plaster. With so many med students in the chat, surely someone knows that plaster is only half as dense as human bone. Look at this cartilage of mine. It's only, why is the scale broken? 6. Brother Pig fiddled with the digital scale's batteries. The livestream viewers caught on and started cursing us out in the chat. They all said we were in cahoots, using this kind of stunt for cheap clicks and views. No shame at all, and demanded the platform ban our accounts. I kept staring at that piece of bone, and the more I looked, the more unsettling it seemed. This can't be plaster. See those dark spots on the bone? That's a clear sign of callus formation. Just like skin bleeds and forms a scab when injured, the same principle applies to bones. After a fracture, bone cells proliferate and form a ring-shaped callus around the break. For a fracture to occur in a delicate location like the laryngeal cartilage, the neck must have been subjected to severe compressive force, meaning the victim was nearly strangled to death before they died. After death, bone cells don't regenerate, so a bone callus can't form. This means the person must have been near death, then survived. And judging by the size and color of the callus, they've lived for at least 2 more years. I slammed my hand on the table. Someone's been imprisoning, torturing, and even killing and cooking people to eat. You, pig, better come clean right now. Juga shivered in fear and said, pouting, my last name isn't Pig. Why are you being so harsh? Are you interrogating me? I already told you it's made of plaster. Just kidding. Just then, the digital scale screen flickered a few times, and Pig Brother quickly placed the bone on the scale. See that? What is this? What the heck is this? On the blue screen, a long row of the number 6 appeared, staring at the string of 66, 66, 66. Everyone was stunned. Bullet comments. What is this? This little bone piece weighs 6,666 grams. That's 13 gene. We sell chicken frames, and a regular whole one only weighs about 70 to 80 grams. Isn't plaster supposed to be lighter than bone? What kind of plaster could be this heavy? Hope the scale isn't broken. Forget the scale for now. This weight, whatever it is, definitely isn't human bone. Haven't you noticed these 2 streamers are just messing around? Disgusting. 7. Brother Pig wasn't having it. He took that bone off the scale and put other things on. Everything else weighed normally, but that bone, no matter how he placed it, always read 6,666 grams. Even when he added a finger to press down on it, the scale still stubbornly displayed 6,666 grams. Staring at that string of numbers, a thought flashed through my mind like lightning. I drew in a sharp breath and, in my urgency, leaned forward, my face coming right up to the camera lens. Oh no, this is a ghost-weighed bone. He'll come back. You pig-faced one, lock the door right now, and don't open it for anyone, no matter who calls. I could tell Pig Brother wasn't very brave. My shout made him flinch again. Who's coming back? My friend, the one who does plaster work. How do you even know he lives here? Look, I'm telling you the truth, he really is a delivery guy, but he's got a job tonight, so he won't be back until morning. The words had barely faded when a dull knocking sound echoed through the air. Asterisk thud, thud, thud asterisk. Brother Pig was startled. He's really back. Knock, knock, knock. The knocking continued, one rap after another, with immense patience. Brother Pig stood up and started toward the door to answer it, but he turned back just as he reached the doorway. Moron you, that noise seems to be coming from your side. I turned my head to look at the door. Hello, your fried chicken is here, but I'm sure I didn't order any delivery. It's the weekend, and the other 2 local students in our dorm have gone home, leaving just me and Zhao Mingfang in the next bunk. I'm sitting at my desk streaming, while Zhao Mingfang has been sound asleep in bed for ages. Nothing could wake her, not even thunder, so there's no way she ordered that delivery. The people in front of the barrage were all talking at once, urging them on. Why isn't the streamer opening the door? They keep knocking outside. It's so noisy. Yeah, don't you have any public decency? It's the middle of the night. Just because you're not sleeping doesn't mean others don't need to. This streamer's got nerves of steel, still able to eat fried chicken after all that. And what on earth was that ghost scale thing they mentioned earlier? Spurred on by the barrage of comments, Brother Pig snapped back to attention. Yeah, moron you, What does ghost weighing bones mean? Could you explain it a bit more clearly? 8. I stopped looking at the screen and fixed my gaze intently on the room door. The first thought that popped into my head was that this fried chicken must have been a gift from Brother Pig's friend, but then again, it felt utterly absurd. The live stream connection is random, and Zhu Ji's IP address is in another city, even if his friend were incredibly skilled. There's no way they could trace me through the network in just a few minutes. The girls in the dorm across the hall are all night owls who often order late-night snacks. Chances are high this fried chicken was ordered by them. The delivery person just knocked on the wrong door, but now it's almost midnight, and this sudden coincidence feels like the moment after watching The Ring, when your TV suddenly starts flickering with static snow, sending an instinctive chill down your spine. I stayed seated. The wooden door of the dorm building wasn't exactly soundproof. With that kind of knocking, the other rooms would have heard it. Someone would answer. The knocking grew more urgent, louder and louder. Hello, here's your fried chicken. Lying on the top bunk, Zhao Mingfeng turned over impatiently and covered her ears. Xiaoya, hurry up and open the door. It's so noisy. Shoo, don't say anything yet. It just occurred to me. Men can't enter the women's dorm. There's something off about that person outside. Normally, food deliveries from off-campus have designated drop-off points, and you have to go downstairs to get them yourself. However, some late-night eateries near the school hire students for part-time delivery and have an arrangement with the dorm supervisors. At night, they can deliver straight to the dorm rooms. The catch is, deliveries to the women's dorms must be made by female students, and to the men's dorms by male students. The person knocking at the door outside was clearly a man. Zhao Mingfeng snapped to attention. Her eyes widening, her drowsiness vanished in an instant. She pulled the blanket tighter and tucked her head back in. Is that a thief? Should we call security? This is so scary. 9. Hello, your fried chicken is here. The person outside raised their voice, their tone softening and becoming more delicate. It actually sounded like a woman. Zhao Mingfeng. Oh, it's a woman. I must have misheard. Xiaoyu, go answer the door. I shook my head and instinctively lowered my voice. I didn't order any takeout, and it's not for our dorm. Zhao Mingfeng, but she keeps knocking on the door, and it's disturbing others. Go and have a word with her. This guy's really silly, knocking nonstop in the middle of the night. Can't he just make a phone call? With that, he threw off the blanket and let out a loud shout toward the outside. Stop knocking. We didn't order any food. The knocking instantly fell silent. After a moment, a faint "sorry about that" came from the other side, and then there was no more sound. It seemed it really was just a misunderstanding. I let out a sigh of relief and walked back to sit down at my desk. Brother Zhu was turning the electronic scale over and over in his hands, studying it intently. When he saw me come in, he quickly straightened up. Morongyu, why are you only half explaining? What exactly is ghost bone weighing? I gestured for him to look at the electronic scale. Do you know why the digital scale shows a string of sixes? In Taoism, 1, 3, and 5 are yang, while 2 and 4 are yin. 2 plus 4 makes the ultimate yin number. There's a dark art that involves selecting a person whose birth chart is entirely yin. They are tortured to death, and their bones are then soaked in corpse oil for 49 days. After that, the bones are made to be gnawed on by someone to absorb their life force. The bones refined through this process are called ghost bones. The person who was tortured to death had a birth chart of pure yin and died with immense resentment. Therefore, any single one of their bones, when weighed, will show an extremely yin measurement. This is also known as ghost weighing bones. Upon hearing this, Brother Zhu leaned back uncomfortably, putting some distance between himself and that bone. So this is a ghost bone. What exactly are ghost bones used for? I shook my head, my eyes fixed on Brother Pig's face. You bit that bone. Your throat bone is the real ghost bone. He will definitely come back to skin your throat alive. You'd better find a way to get out of here, fast. Ah, Brother Zhu clutched his neck in terror, his face deathly pale. Sis, please don't scare me like this, I'm begging you. 10. I'm not trying to scare you. The methods of these dark cultivators are truly brutal. If it were you. Boom, boom, boom. The knock on the door suddenly sounded again, still the same delivery guy. Hello, is Zhou Lin in your dorm? This time, her voice was especially clear, as if it were right beside my ear. I called her, she ordered the takeout, and she said she's on her way and will be there any minute. At the same moment, my phone buzzed with a WeChat message from my roommate. Zhou Lin, Xiaoya, can you grab the fried chicken for me? I thought you went home. Hey, don't even get me started. My parents, those two old coots, went on a trip without telling me. I didn't realize I couldn't get in until I came home after the movie. I'm seriously done with them. The subway's shut down, so I took a taxi. Do you have any idea how expensive that was? Jolene went on and on with her complaints, and I just smiled, shook my head, took off my headphones, and got ready to stand up and open the door. In the scene, Brother Zhu's expression suddenly twisted into a grotesque mask of panic as he frantically waved his arms at me. I have no idea what's gotten into him all of a sudden. I just glanced at the screen, the barrage of comments. Holy crap, Morongyu, don't open the door, Brother Zhu says the person outside is his friend. Oh my god, is that the psycho? Thrilling. What was already terrifying becomes even more frightening. I paused for a moment, then put my headphones back on. Pig Brother's voice had twisted with terror. Morongyu, don't open the door. It really is my friend at the door. His name is Wang Xiang. His voice just sounds like that, neither properly male nor female. I can hear him perfectly clearly. It's him. I'm telling you, it's him. 11. My mind went completely blank. Aren't you supposed to be in Hainan? Brother Zhu nodded vigorously. That's right, I'm in Wenchang, Hainan. My friend left the house at 10 in the evening. Livestream comments. Impossible. Morongyu is from Beijing. From Wenchang, you have to get to Haikou to catch a flight, and the flight alone takes nearly 4 hours. Add in the waiting time at the airport and the taxi rides. You can't make it in less than half a day. Seriously. It's only been 2 hours since 10 o'clock. Did he fly here from the sky? Pig Brother is getting desperate. Muyue, I'm not kidding you. Wang Xiang is from Zhujiang, so he doesn't pronounce reverflex sounds. When he said Zhou Lin just now, he actually said Zhou Lin. It was really obvious. The phone vibrated incessantly on the table, with Zhou Lin sending several urgent WeChat messages in a row. Did you get the fried chicken? Xiaoya, as soon as you get it, open the box for me. Let it breathe a bit. The crust will stay crisp. If it stays sealed too long, it'll get soggy and the skin won't taste good. The delivery rider keeps knocking insistently at the door. Hurry up, I've got the next order to take. Pig Brother screamed from the other side. It's him, it's him, it's definitely him. Morongyu, whatever you do, don't open the door. Zhao Mingfang urged again from the bed. Stop making so much noise. Xiaoya, go open the door. Voices from all directions converged, and the text on the bullet comments scrolled wildly. I can hardly think at all. 12. The balcony door of the dorm room was slightly ajar, and a chill of cold air slipped through the gap, puffing up the curtain into a bulge. I shook my head hard and took a deep breath. Brother Zhu, you said the guy at the door is Wang Xiang, right? Then give him a call now. Brother Zhu froze. Livestream comments. Damn, the streamer's really sharp. No wonder they're from a top-tier university, right? Didn't you say the person at the door is your friend? Delivery drivers don't put their phones on silent. If you call, it'll ring over there. Go on. Call them. Why aren't you hitting him? Are you deliberately trying to scare Morongyu? Zhu Ge slapped his forehead, then fumbled around before pulling another phone from his pocket. Oh, right. Why didn't I think of that? I'll call right now. He pointed his phone at the camera, opened his contacts, and dialed the number. You are my little apple. The doorbell suddenly blared through the silent night, sending a chill down his spine. The delivery rider spoke in a low voice on the phone. Hey, get back here now. Ugh, this guy's being weird. Won't open the door. Leave it on the door. No way. Last time I did that, someone from another dorm took it. The boss deducted my pay, over $60 for that order. The bullet comments went wild. Oh my god, the phone actually rang. It's him. No, I feel like it's just a coincidence. Doesn't it happen all the time that delivery guys get rushed for orders? Yeah, I feel like it's just a coincidence too. There's no way it's that precise. Exactly 1 second. Morongyu, trust me, don't open the door. Brother Zhu nodded vigorously, clasped his hands together, and looked at me with a face full of sincerity. Yeah, it's really him. Don't open the door. 13. I'm torn. Frankly, I find it hard to believe that Wang Xiang could get from Wenchang to Yanjing so quickly, let alone pinpoint my exact dorm room number. But then again, if it really is him at the door, can I handle the consequences of opening it? I'm just an ordinary archaeology student. The only reason I have any knowledge of esoteric subjects, things most people never encounter, is because my grandfather was a tomb raider. I don't know martial arts or magic. I wouldn't stand a chance. I sat there, my face twisted in indecision, not moving a muscle while the delivery person kept knocking. What's going on? Is opening the door really that hard for you? Fine, don't open the door. I'll just leave it hanging here. If it gets stolen, that's on you. With that, he slammed the door shut and stormed Off in a huff, I couldn't believe it. Just like that, he left. On the other side of the screen, Zhuge slammed the table and burst into wild laughter. Ha 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 ha, Moron you idiot, ha ha ha, everyone look, this so-called mystic influencer, the million-follower star, look, she's fallen for it, I've successfully tricked her. He sprang up on the spot, shouting and jumping, you idiot, are you mentally challenged? How can you get from Wenchang to Yanjing, let alone Peking University, in just 2 hours? That's about the best you can do. Look at this. This is the influencer you all follow, so scared of someone 1,000 miles away that she won't even answer the door for her own takeout. Ha ha ha, why bother following her? You'd be better off following me. Seeing my frustrated expression, Brother Pig was absolutely delighted. What the heck is this ghost weighing bones nonsense? That's just a silly legend my friend told me as a joke. The bones were custom made to a specific weight. I had them filled with lead. Did you all see that? Superstition is nonsense. This streamer fell for it themselves, yet they're still telling others what to do. The chat is going wild again. Most people are just blindly following Bro Pig and ganging up on me, calling me useless and saying I'm too gullible. I shook my head. Impossible. That bone is real. The callus on it can't be removed. Still playing tough. Zhuge had a rosy glow on his face and turned to glance outside the door. My friend's back. Let me go get him to say hello to you all. Wang Xiang, come here. 14 Donmu. I can't even look. Moronyu has completely humiliated herself today. Yeah, not only did she misjudge the situation, but she got scammed too. Ugh, I don't want to be her fan anymore. I'm so embarrassed for her. A dark figure slowly approached, wearing a black hoodie, a mask, and a baseball cap, his face obscured and unrecognizable. He stood behind Zhu Ge, who waved excitedly at the camera. Soon, the smile froze on Zhu Ji's face. A finger suddenly emerged from his throat, a thick knuckle, its fingerprint ridge calloused, tore outward along his windpipe, widening the wound, before another finger pushed its way through. Piggy's mouth fell open in horror. Morong, HK. Blood splattered across the screen, a warning popped up in the livestream, and the broadcast was cut off immediately. Everyone was stunned, and they all started sending me private messages. Holy shit, Morong, did you see that? I'm freaking terrified. What the hell just happened? Is Brother Zhu dead? Did they really slit his throat right there? Was his friend lying to him? Are there really ghost bone scales? Streamer, say something. Zhuge was so close to the screen that the blood splattering out seemed to spray right onto my face, even through the screen. My face pale. I pulled off my headphones and hurried to the bathroom. I splashed cold water on my face several times before I slowly began to calm down. What happened today was completely unexpected. Zhuge was trying to step on me to get ahead, but he didn't expect to be tricked by his own friend. That Wang Xiang used real human bones. Definitely not the lead-filled props he claimed they were. This man is ruthless and utterly malicious. I can't stand by and do nothing when something like this happens. I wiped the water from my face, walked back to the desk, picked up my phone, and dialed Xiaomoyu. The phone rang a few times, but no one answered. Just then, I heard a strange sound. Crunch, 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 crunch. Sounds like someone's chewing on something. That crisp sound. Is someone eating fried chicken? 15. I suddenly looked up. Zhao Mingfeng was still in bed, but this time she had drawn the curtains. The sound of chewing was coming from her direction. Fong Fong, Fong Fong. I raised my voice and called out a few times, but she didn't respond. I couldn't resist climbing up and pulling back the bed curtain. Zhao Mingfeng sat cross-legged on her bed, her hair disheveled, completely engrossed in devouring a piece of fried chicken. She was so absorbed that she didn't even notice me climbing onto her bed. Fong Fong, where did you get this fried chicken? I reached out and tapped Zhao Mingfeng on the shoulder. She jumped, startled, and snapped back to reality. Xiaoya, I've never tasted fried chicken this delicious in my life. It's so good. Did Zhou Lin order this? Yeah, Zhou Lin said again she's not coming back. She told us to eat the fried chicken she ordered so it doesn't go to waste. I just picked it up from the door, Zhao Mingfeng said as she lifted the takeout bag in her hand. Want a piece? My gaze shifted to the takeout bag, and when I saw what was inside, I gasped sharply, goosebumps breaking out across my back. Inside the bag, a kitchen scale lay quietly. In a flustered hurry, I pulled out that electronic scale. Seeing it, Zhao Mingfeng asked with confusion, is this a free gift? We have no use for something like this. Asked a question, then went back to munching on the fried chicken in his hand. She ate with remarkable speed. A small pile of delicate bones had already accumulated on the tray table, and she was gnawing on the final piece. I placed the digital scale on the tray table, pressed the power button, and put the few small bones Zhao Mingfeng had picked clean onto it. Sure enough, the blue screen displayed a string of numbers. 666. I stared at that pile of bones, a cold sweat nearly breaking out on my forehead. These are several metatarsal bones. The bones in the human foot. 16. Stop eating. I went to snatch the fried chicken from Zhao Mingfeng's hands. Feng, stop eating. Zhao Mingfeng suddenly went wild, turning her back to me and blocking me with her arm. She devoured the last piece of fried chicken in a few bites, then clamped down on the bone, refusing to let go, her face wearing an expression of pure rapture. Smells so good. Oh, really good. Hee hee, all gone. Next time I'll ask Zhou Lin where she ordered this from. Gonna go wash my hands. Zhao Mingfeng, with a bone in her mouth, quickly climbed out of bed, entering the dorm room. The bathroom door was on the left and a row of wardrobes on the right. Just as Zhao Mingfeng reached the bathroom entrance, a sudden, urgent knocking came from the main door of the adjacent room. Xiaoya, Feng, open the door quickly. Zhou Lin, didn't you say you weren't coming back? Zhao Mingfeng paused, then turned to open the door. My face fell. Don't open it, that's not Zhou Lin. But it was too late. As the door swung open, I heard Zhao Mingfeng grunt. The chicken bone he was gnawing on clattered to the floor with a soft thud. From my bunk, I couldn't see the door. In the heat of the moment, without a second thought, I jumped down from the top bunk. Feng. I looked up toward the door just in time to see a dark figure flash by. Fleeing with Zhao Mingfeng, I immediately took off in pursuit. Stop right there. People are such strange creatures. Before you actually meet someone, your mind runs wild with all sorts of guesses, leaving you trembling with fear and anxiety. But now, facing the enemy head-on and seeing them run away, my courage surged instantly. No holding back. Just go for it and see what happens. 17. The hallway was unlit, making it hard to see clearly. Through the dimness, I could just make out a figure, not tall, but strong, sprinting toward the rooftop with Zhao Mingfeng slung over their shoulder. This guy must be one of Wang Xiang's accomplices, but he's not as tough as Wang Xiang, so he didn't dare to start anything right there in the dorm. Our dorm building is on the 8th floor, and the rooftop is right above us. There's a door up there that's usually left open, but if someone shuts it, you have to get the key from the dorm supervisor. In that brief moment, he had more than enough time to hack off Zhao Mingfeng's foot. This guy had clearly cased the place beforehand. He knew our dormitory building inside out. I chased after him, watching helplessly as he bounded up the stairs 2 at a time and flung open the rooftop door. Bang, the door slammed shut, with Zhao Mingfeng crying and shouting behind it. What are you doing? Hey, don't touch me, Zhou Lin. Zhao Mingfeng let out a scream. Zhou Lin, what on earth are you trying to do? I was slamming my shoulder against the door when I heard Zhou Lin's name, and I froze in stunned disbelief. Zhou Lin, it's hard to believe, but on second thought, it makes perfect sense. It was Zhou Lin who ordered the fried chicken. She said she wouldn't be back tonight and told Zhao Mingfeng to eat it, and it was her who asked Zhao Mingfeng to open the door. But everything was fine. How on earth did she get mixed up with a dark practitioner? Zhou Lin, what's going on? When did you meet that Wang Xiang? Don't you dare touch Feng. No matter what I said, Zhou Lin ignored me. Zhao Mingfeng started crying and screaming again, and the sound of something heavy hitting the floor came from behind the door. I was sweating bullets, frantic but utterly powerless. Feng, hold on, just hang in there a little longer. I gritted my teeth, turned, and rushed toward the elevator. Zhao Mingfeng used to be a track and field athlete, so she's in excellent physical shape. In contrast, Zhou Lin is only about 1.6 meters tall and weighs just over 40 kilograms. Without relying on any supernatural abilities, she would stand no chance against Zhao Mingfeng. 18. Sure enough, I grabbed the key from the dorm supervisor and rushed back to the rooftop with the others, only to find Zhao Mingfeng still standing there, unharmed. She was just standing at the edge of the rooftop, 1 foot already over the railing, when Zhou Lin leaned against the rail with her arms crossed, tilting her face up to look at her. The aunt was almost scared out of her wits. Hey, don't jump, calm down, please. Zhao Mingfeng, however, seemed not to hear. Her eyes half closed, appearing dazed and disoriented. I breathed a sigh of relief. It was a case of spirit possession. A ghost had entered Zhao Mingfeng's body and was forcing her to jump. This isn't too difficult. I can handle this. I took off a protective talisman from around my neck, shouted, and hurled it directly at Zhao Mingfeng. Zhao Mingfeng, wake up. The talisman struck Zhao Mingfeng and spontaneously ignited. In the faint glow of the flames, her entire body jolted, and her eyes cleared in an instant. She scrambled down in a panic, only halfway there when Zhou Lin sensed danger and lunged at her, just as Zhou Lin was about to knock Zhao Mingfeng off. At the critical moment, Zhao Mingfeng grabbed Zhou Lin's arm with a death grip and flung her aside. Somehow, Zhou Lin stumbled, her body suddenly launching into the air, clearing the railing and plummeting off the rooftop. A few seconds later, a loud bang echoed through the air. Zhao Mingfeng's face turned deathly pale as she let out a shriek and collapsed to the floor. "Oh, Zhou Lin, I didn't mean it." Zhou Lin, my roommate and I rushed over to check, and Zhou Lin had fallen onto the concrete floor on the first floor. She was clearly not going to survive. The aunt was also stunned. After crying with Zhao Mingfeng for a while, she began to calm down, called the police, and contacted the teacher. The police arrived shortly after and took us back to the station to give our statements. We couldn't mention anything about the possession. Of course, my aunt and I testified that Zhou Lin was the one who lunged at Zhao Mingfeng first, so Zhao Mingfeng's actions counted as self-defense. The specifics would have to wait until they reviewed the security footage tomorrow before any conclusions could be drawn. The police let us go pretty quickly. Zhao Mingfeng went to use the restroom, and I waited for her by the door. On a December winter night, the cold was especially biting, and the north wind stunned the face like knives. 2 young police officers stood by the door smoking, shivering in the wind. "Ninth floor. How did you manage to fall so badly?" "Well, it was torn to pieces. I heard they still haven't found one of the feet. Young people these days, with the slightest thing, cough." The 2 of them glanced at me, then quickly changed the subject. "Girl, go home and get some rest. Have your counselor contact the school psychologist for some proper guidance." My whole body went rigid, a chill running down my spine. It felt like a gaping hole had opened up in my chest, letting wave after wave of cold dread seep out. I couldn't find one of the shoes. 19. Zhao Mingfeng came out of the room with red-rimmed eyes and took my arm. "Come on, Xiaoya. The teacher booked us a room at the hotel next door. Let's go get some rest. We have to continue giving our statements tomorrow." We walked forward, hand in hand. In silence she entered the hotel, closed the door behind her, and Zhao Mingfeng walked over to lock the bolt. "I'm really scared now. This way feels safer." I nodded, then silently walked over to the couch, sat down, and started scrolling through my phone. Zhao Mingfeng, sitting on the bed opposite, let out a soft chuckle. "Xiaoyu, how was the sweet and sour pork ribs from last night?" I remained silent, so she pressed on with another question. "I watched the livestream replay. You still haven't answered Brother Zhu. What exactly is the use of the ghost weighs the bones or the ghost bone?" I looked up at her. "Gather ghost bones to forge a bone corpse. Once the bone corpse is formed, it becomes invulnerable to all spells." Zhao Mingfeng widened her eyes in surprise. "Wow, that's amazing. Ha ha ha." Zhao Mingfeng burst into uncontrollable laughter. When it subsided, she suddenly leaned in and reached out to touch my face. "Xiaoya, don't worry, it won't hurt much." Zhao Mingfeng pulled a cleaver from beneath the pillow. Its blade was caked with a layer of dark, old blood, clearly showing its age. She held the knife up to my chest, tilting her head, a flicker of confusion in her eyes. "Mu Rongyue. You're surprisingly calm, aren't you? Surprised? Aren't you afraid?" I nodded, then shook my head. "I heard them say Zhou Lin's body was missing a foot. The height of the 9th floor isn't enough to crush a body like that, unless she was missing a leg to begin with. She's been turned into a ghoul, hasn't she? She's been dead for a while. That pile of chicken bones is what she left behind, and the piece I saw you gnawing on last, that was real fried chicken." 20, clap, 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 Zhao Mingfeng put down the knife in her hand and gave me a vigorous round of applause. "Clever indeed, your mind works well. Too bad it's too late. That amulet of yours was quite powerful. Now that it's gone, what will you use to stop me?" As Zhao Mingfeng finished speaking, a woman suddenly crawled out from under the bed. She wore a red dress, her long hair reaching her waist, her face as pale as if she had been dead for 7 days, staring at me with black eyes devoid of whites, fixed and unblinking. My body instinctively recoiled. "Ghost." Zhao Mingfeng let out a cold hum. "Pin her down." To everyone's surprise, the female ghost stood motionless, her form gradually fading like a wisp of mist. "What's happening?" Zhao Mingfeng's face fell. He had only taken a few rushed steps when the gust of wind he stirred up scattered the ghost completely. I walked to the doorway and pointed a finger under the bed. "Before we entered the hotel, I had my grandfather send over our family's heirloom, the Chankuan mirror." After saying that, he quickly pulled out the door bolt, flung the door open, and started shouting at the top of his lungs, "Murder, help, officer." the officer who had dropped us off hadn't left yet. He was smoking in the fire escape stairwell. Hearing the shouts, he immediately rushed over. Zhao Mingfeng panicked and denied everything, but the bloodstains and fingerprints on that knife were undeniable. When the blood was sent for analysis, it was shockingly linked to 5 or 6 recent missing persons and homicide cases. Everyone was stunned, completely unable to believe Zhao Mingfeng was a serial killer. Zhao Mingfeng refused to confess to anything. Then, one late night, she died silently in her prison cell while I was sorting through her belongings. Zhao Mingfeng's phone rang. I hesitated before answering the call. Hello, this is Wang Xiang, Morongyu. We'll be seeing each other again very soon. End of this section. Story 2. When I had a miscarriage due to a car accident. Su Yunjing happened to pass by in his car with his female assistant. Seeing my white dress stained with blood, he covered his female assistant's curious eyes and coldly left a sentence, "It's unlucky, don't look." Then he accelerated and drove away. Late that night, in the corner of the wardrobe in the bedroom, I found a lace underwear that didn't belong to me. Closing the wardrobe door, I calmly dialed the phone and said, "General Manager Chen, I've made up my mind, I can leave this city next week and join your company." "That's great, Lin Ran, welcome to join us." The moment the call ended, Su Yunjing just walked out of the bathroom. His hair was half dry, and there was a faint trace of water vapor on his body. In the past, he used to take a shower in no more than 5 minutes. Recently, he always took his phone with him and spent at least half an hour washing and grooming. "Who were you talking to just now?" When he asked me this, Su Yunjing's gaze was still fixed on his phone. I truthfully told him that I had just finished talking to General Manager Chen. The man just let out an "Oh." I knew that. As always, he didn't really listen to what I said, and this time, for the first time, I didn't argue or make a fuss. I started to edit my resignation letter on my phone when Su Yunjing picked up the water cup but didn't get to drink the soothing tea that I made for him every night. His gaze finally fell on me as if it were a kind of charity. "Lin Ran, I showed your CT report to an orthopedic expert. He said you just suffered a minor skin injury. Just be careful not to get the wound wet." I kept my eyes on the phone screen and typed, "I see. This afternoon, my calf was sutured with 8 stitches due to the car accident. Not only that, but I was also found to be 4 weeks pregnant with signs of a threatened miscarriage." The doctor regretfully said that if I had been sent to the hospital earlier, perhaps the child could have been saved. Seeing that my expression was unusually cold, Su Yunjing furrowed his handsome brows and was about to come over to see what I was busy with. At this moment, his phone vibrated. The man immediately raised the corners of his mouth and turned to walk into the study. Seeing this, I used my secondary account to open Su Yunjing's Moments. I saw a new post that was visible to everyone except me, a self-criticism. The person making the self-criticism was Su Yunjing. I shouldn't have gone back on my word to the cutest little assistant in the whole universe. I promised to get off work on time and take the little assistant to have a big meal, but because of my busy work, I made her hungry for a whole 10 minutes. I was completely wrong. From now on, I will definitely turn over a new leaf and be a good boss. After I liked the post, I just received the contract sent by General Manager Chen. I clicked on the contract link and signed my name without hesitation. The next morning, Su Yunjing got up early and bought steamed stuffed buns and steamed dumplings from a well-known old store. Just as I was about to open the insulated bag of the crab roast steamed buns, the man slapped my hand, turning it red. "Don't you like eating dumplings? I specially bought the shrimp steamed dumplings for you." I was taken aback for a moment and quickly realized that the crab roast steamed buns were bought for Jiangyu. I couldn't help asking Su Yunjing, "I've been in a relationship with you for 7 years. Don't you know that I'm allergic to shrimp?" Su Yunjing's face changed slightly. He suddenly stood up and said coldly, "Picking a fight for no reason. Eat it if you want, or don't." Seeing that Su Yunjing was about to go out, I walked into the room and picked up a bag. "When you see Jiangyu later, please return this to her for me." Seeing the lace underwear inside, a look of astonishment flashed in Su Yunjing's eyes. He opened his mouth, as if he wanted to explain something, but seeing that I didn't show the slightest intention to argue with him and looked so indifferent, he just said, "I'll tell Xiaoyan not to be so forgetful in the future." "Okay." Seeing that I was in a low mood, Su Yunjing offered to drive me to work today. During our 7-year relationship, even in the most adverse conditions, as the company's general manager, he had always been so strict about separating work from personal matters that he had never driven me to and from work. But on Jiangyu's first day at work, she started enjoying his pick-up and drop-off service. Thinking of this, I accidentally dropped my chopsticks to the ground and my fingertips trembled as I reached down to pick them up. By the time I straightened up, Su Yunjing had already walked outside the entrance hall. Without looking back, he left a sentence, "There's something urgent at the company, I'll drive you another time." Then he left in a hurry. Half an hour later, I limped to my workstation for some reason. Most of my colleagues looked at me with sympathy. When I went to the pantry to get water, I heard two colleagues whispering, "So, General Manager Su really dumped Lin Ran and got together with that Jiang Yu." "Definitely, you didn't see it this morning. Jiang Yu just got her period and stained her skirt a little." General Manager Su directly carried her in his arms like a princess and took her to the office on the top floor in front of all the department heads in the conference room. The mug in my hand slipped and shattered. The gossip in the pantry stopped abruptly. I squatted down and silently picked up the pieces of the mug and threw them into the trash can one by one. I worked overtime until 10 o'clock at night. Suddenly, I felt a weight on my shoulders. Su Yunjing draped his suit jacket over me. "Lin Ran, why didn't you reply to my message?" I didn't turn around. I just lit up my phone and took a look at the unread message. "What kind of flavored milk tea do you girls usually like?" 3 years ago, I, like most others, asked Su Yunjing for the first cup of milk tea in autumn. At that time, Su Yunjing looked at me with a look of disgust and said, "Lin Ran, you're almost 30 years old, don't follow this silly trend and gross me out." But now, Su Yunjing took the initiative to bring me a cup of milk tea. Seeing that I didn't touch the milk tea and continued to work, a strange look appeared in Su Yunjing's eyes. "Didn't you keep clamoring for this before?" I casually perfunctorily replied, "It's too late. Drinking it will make me insomnia." There was a moment of silence. The man said in a cold voice, "I'm going to the restroom, and then we'll go home together." Half a minute later, Su Yunjing's phone, which was placed on my workstation, lit up. It was a message from Jiang Yu. "Brother Yunjing is such a big fool who would send dozens of cups of milk tea at once. Brother, you don't really want to turn Yaya into a little chubby pig, do you?" So scared. I got home a little after 11 o'clock. I walked into the bedroom and started packing my personal belongings. As soon as Su Yunjing, who had just taken a shower, entered the bedroom, he noticed that there were obviously fewer things on the dressing table. He frowned and said, "Lin Ran, I'm going on a business trip to Paris next month. If there's anything you want to buy, make a list for me." I replied without thinking, "Don't bother, I don't need anything. Anyway, I'll be leaving in a few days. There's no need to go to the trouble." Throwing the bath towel onto the bed, Su Yunjing looked at me with cold eyes and said, "Just because I bought breakfast that didn't suit your taste, you've been throwing a tantrum at me until now, right?" I was just about to explain that I wasn't angry. The man already let out a sneer. "You know I hate women who put on airs the most. Lin Ran, you've crossed the line." Walking into the study, Su Yunjing slammed the door shut. During our 7-year relationship, Su Yunjing initiated the Cold War countless times, and I, countless times, humbly made peace. However, this time, I really didn't care anymore. Su Yunjing stayed in the study all night and didn't hear a single knock on the door. The next morning, as usual, I made breakfast for two. Just as I finished my portion and was about to go to work, Su Yunjing walked out of the study with a cold expression on his face, holding his phone. He ordered me in an impatient tone, "Lin Ran, I'll give you a day off. Before 5 o'clock in the afternoon, make an identical fondant cake for me." Since I established a romantic relationship with Su Yunjing, I have made his birthday cake by hand every year. I've seen the cartoon pattern on his phone. This is Jiang Yu's WeChat avatar. The living room fell silent just as Su Yunjing belatedly realized that he had proposed an overly unreasonable task. I nodded. "Send me the picture. I'll go out and buy the materials now." If it hadn't been for Su Yunjing at that dinner party 7 years ago, as a newcomer in the workplace, I definitely wouldn't have been able to get out of it unscathed. After making this cake, I really won't owe him anything anymore. Looking at my lonely back as I walked towards the door, Su Yunjing called out to me in a daze. I didn't look back and just asked, "Is there anything else you want to tell me?" "I've transferred the money for buying the materials to you." Sitting in the elevator, I opened the chat window with Su Yunjing. I found it ridiculous that I had sent him a total of 5,363 messages and he had replied to me with only 25 messages. In the living room, hearing the prompt tone that the transfer of 100,000 yuan had been returned, Su Yunjing couldn't help but clench his phone tightly. At 8 o'clock that night, I received a call from Su Yunjing. "Lin Ran, where are you?" I was dining at a noodle shop near my home. Instead of answering his question directly, I just asked, "What's the matter?" The man's tone was gentle. "Nothing, I just wanted to tell you that the cake you made is as delicious as ever." After a pause, he added in a low voice, "Thank you for your hard work." Before I could reply, Jiang Yu's delicate voice sounded. Sister Lin ran. I heard from Brother Yunjing that the birthday cake I had today was made by you. Is that true? Oh my god, sister, you're so amazing, unlike me. I'm so clumsy and always get scolded by Brother Yunjing for being a little fool. The moment Jiang Yu invited me to the birthday party, Su Yunjing's voice appeared again. Lin ran. You don't need to come. After saying that, the man hung up the phone. However, a few minutes later, he sent me a location and a message. When you come, bring a pack of tomato-flavored potato chips for Xiaoya from the nearby convenience store. When I pushed open the door of the private room, Su Yunjing was feeding Jiang Yu the cake. Seeing me appear, a look of displeasure filled the man's eyes. I knew that the location and the message were sent by Jiang Yu, but I still came. Hearing Jiang Yu sweetly call me sister-in-law, Su Yunjing glared at me with a cold face and said, "Didn't I tell you not to come?" "Sorry, Brother Yunjing. I really wanted to eat potato chips, so I tricked Sister Lin ran into coming." Seeing Jiang Yu pout sadly, Su Yunjing doted on her and ruffled her hair, calling her a little glutton in a low voice. Realizing that the man was in a good mood, I immediately took out my resignation letter. General Manager Su, a colleague has something urgent at home and is in a hurry to leave. Please approve this. According to the rules, the resignation application should be approved and processed by the company's Human Resources Department, but when the Human Resources Manager saw that the applicant was me, he directly returned the form. The lighting in the private room was dim, as I expected. Su Yunjing, who was busy flirting with Jiang Yu, didn't even look at the name on the form and directly signed it. However, when I was about to take back the form, the man suddenly pressed my hand. Looking thoughtful, he asked me, "Lin Ran, did you come here just for this?" When I nodded, Su Yunjing's face turned a little gloomy. In less than 2 seconds, he quickly let go of my hand as if he had been electrocuted. Presumably, he touched the blisters on my hand caused by boiling sugar. He must have felt disgusted. At this time, Jiang Yu seemed to have discovered something interesting and said to me, "Sister Lin Ran, the red string on your wrist looks so familiar." "Oh, I remember. The other day, I saw an identical one in my family's trash can." Pretending not to see Su Yunjing's action of covering his wrist, I replied indifferently, "This kind of red string is very common. If you like it, I can give you the one on my hand." Jiang Yu didn't take it. After walking out of the private room, I immediately found the trash can and threw away the red string that I had worn for 7 years. While waiting for the elevator, I received a call from my mother. She asked me if I had booked the ticket to go home. I said, "I'll book it in a few days." As soon as I finished speaking, I heard Su Yunjing's puzzled voice behind me. "What are you going to book?" Hanging up the phone, I lied without changing my expression. "There's a very popular restaurant. I need to book in advance." Hearing this, Su Yunjing didn't say anything more. He just pulled me and booked a suite in a nearby hotel. He started to deal with urgent business matters on his laptop. We were so in sync that we were busy until the early morning, while waiting for feedback from overseas customers. I couldn't hold on any longer and fell asleep. When I woke up the next day, I found myself lying on the bed. Su Yunjing was leaning against the headboard reading the financial newspaper. Seeing that I woke up, he asked the waiter to bring breakfast. Halfway through the breakfast, the man suddenly asked me why I had changed my phone password. I just wanted to change it. The original password was a combination of my birthday and his. Since I've decided to break up, it's naturally impossible to keep using it forever. Su Yunjing put down the knife and fork in his hand. "Lin Ran, didn't you always clamor for me to accompany you to watch a movie? There's a cinema nearby." Since the boss was taking the lead in skipping work, I didn't have the right to refuse. Snuggling up to my boyfriend in a quiet and sparsely populated cinema, holding popcorn and watching a comedy, this sweet scene that I had once dreamed of was perfectly realized at this moment. But I was uninterested and kept yawning. Noticing that I was distracted, Su Yunjing frowned and said, "You picked this movie, what's wrong? Don't you like it?" "No, it's quite good." Hearing my perfunctory answer, the man pursed his thin lips. It seemed that he had something to say. At this moment, his phone received a message. For this reason, he didn't even say a word and just walked out directly until the movie ended. Su Yunjing didn't come back. Just as I was about to call him, I heard a familiar sweet female voice not far away. "Brother Yunjing, you're so amazing." I saw Jiang Yu, who had received a huge stuffed toy, excitedly laughing and jumping onto Su Yunjing. She kissed the man's cheek with a smack. Su Yunjing held Jiang Yu's thighs. The smile in his eyes disappeared instantly when he saw me. "Sister Lin Ran, you're here too." Jiang Yu looked at me in surprise. A few seconds later, she let out a shy scream and covered her face as she stepped down from Su Yunjing. "Sister Lin Ran, please Don't misunderstand, it's all my fault, I was just too excited, so Su Yunjing gently scraped Jiang Yu's nose and said to her in a doting tone that there was no need to apologize. Then he looked at me and said as if nothing had happened, has the movie ended so soon? Before I could speak, a piercing fire alarm suddenly rang in the mall. The crowd scattered in panic. Before I could react, Su Yunjing had already taken Jiang Yu's hand and protected her as they ran towards the emergency exit. 5 minutes later, the alarm caused by human error was lifted. Su Yunjing returned to the original place. He looked around for a long time, but he couldn't find me anywhere. 2 hours later, after completing the resignation procedures, I dragged my suitcase and appeared at the high-speed rail station. While waiting for the train, my phone kept ringing for no apparent reason. The caller ID showed it was Su Yunjing. I was too lazy to answer, so I simply set it to mute just before boarding the high-speed rail. I sent a message to Su Yunjing, let's break up. After sending the message, I took out the phone card and threw it into the trash can. I arrived at the hometown station close to midnight. As soon as I walked out of the ticket-checking gate, I saw my father, who had been waiting for a long time, sitting in my father's car. I saw a large bag of my favorite snacks and yogurt in the passenger seat. Before driving, my father cheerfully inserted a straw into the yogurt and placed it in my hand. Seeing my father's white temples, I finally couldn't hold back and burst into tears. Dad, this time I'm back, and I'll never leave. I want to stay by your and Mom's side for the rest of my life. Silly girl, whether you stay by our side or not, you're always our dearest Ran. My father could tell that I was in a very bad mood, but since I didn't take the initiative to talk about it, he didn't ask anything. I went home, took a shower, and ate the homemade meal cooked by my parents at 10 o'clock at night. When I lay in bed and opened the music app, planning to listen to some soothing music to help me fall asleep, I unexpectedly saw several private messages. The person who sent the private messages was the female colleague in the company who had the best relationship with me. Surprised by my sudden resignation, she sincerely asked me, was there anything wrong? Was there anything she could do to help? Just as I was thinking about how to reply, the female colleague sent me a video. She said, Sister Ran, this video of General Manager Su and Jiang Yu has gone viral in the work group. After a moment of hesitation, I finally clicked on the video. At a glance, it could be seen that the video footage was intercepted from the surveillance camera in the company's conference room. There were 3 people in the conference room: Su Yunjing, Jiang Yu, and the manager of the Human Resources Department. Although the surveillance video didn't record the sound, I recognized the piece of paper that Su Yunjing was holding in his hand. It was the resignation application form that I had just submitted this afternoon. At the beginning of the video, the male manager of the Human Resources Department was so nervous and scared that he seemed about to cry. He kept bowing and explaining something. However, Su Yunjing kept his eyes lowered and stared at the resignation application in his hand, not even looking at the manager. 3 minutes and 40 seconds later, Su Yunjing, whose sitting posture remained unchanged, casually waved his hand. The Human Resources manager left with a bow, as if he had been granted amnesty. Jiang Yu, who had been standing behind the man with an ugly expression on her face, forced a sweet smile. Just as she was about to touch Su Yunjing's shoulder, she was startled and took several steps back by the man, who suddenly waved his arm and swept the hot coffee beside him onto the ground. The coffee splashed onto his face and clothes, but the man stood up without caring, looking nonchalant, and paced back and forth with a half-smile. It wasn't until his phone seemed to receive some message that he stopped in surprise and quickly picked it up to check. The message must have been very long, otherwise the man wouldn't have stood still for several minutes. Seeing the man put down his phone with a cold expression, Jiang Yu hugged the man's waist from behind. Just as she was about to speak, she was frightened and sprained her ankle and fell down by the man's furious action of throwing the phone at the electronic screen in the center of the conference room. The electronic screen was smashed, sparking, and in pieces. Jiang Yu's face turned pale with fear, and she sobbed continuously. Su Yunjing turned around and walked towards. At this point, the video ended abruptly. In fact, I didn't need to watch further to know that Su Yunjing would definitely help Jiang Yu up. Then he would apologize to her softly and spoil her even more out of a sense of guilt and pander to her. I exited the video interface and sent a blessing message to my female colleague. Although we won't be able to work side by side in the future, I still hope that she can climb the career ladder and have a bright future. On the 4th day after returning home under the care of my parents, I was in high spirits and went to a gathering with my 2 best girlfriends from high school. These 2 women kept asking me which beauty salon I had gotten maintenance injections from. After joking around for a while, my phone rang. The caller ID showed an unknown number. thinking that I had just changed my phone number 2 days ago and this was most likely a boring sales call. I didn't care and pressed the screen to turn it off without paying any attention. Shortly after returning home in the evening, the doorbell of my house rang. Since I had ordered milk tea takeout, I opened the door without thinking. It's really fast. When I saw that it was Su Yunjing standing outside the door, the smile on my face disappeared instantly. I didn't know how he found out the address of my parents' residence. I only knew that I never wanted to see him again. Sensing that I wanted to close the door immediately, Su Yunjing's eyes darkened, risking his finger being crushed. He didn't hesitate to reach out and block the door crack firmly. He asked me in a hoarse voice, "Lin Ran, why didn't you answer my call?" At this moment, although my mind was a bit confused, it didn't affect my ability to express myself verbally. Su Yunjing heard me say word by word, "We have already broken up. Please leave immediately." Upon hearing the words break up, Su Yunjing seemed to have heard the most ridiculous joke. He sneered and increased the strength of his grip on the door panel. "Break up? When did we break up? Why don't I know about it?" When I heard this, my first reaction was that the text message hadn't been sent successfully, but after thinking about it for a while, I knew it was impossible. Moreover, even if the text message hadn't been sent successfully, upon hearing the news of my resignation, as smart as Su Yunjing, he wouldn't not know what it meant. Since everything was so obvious, why did he still have the nerve to come to my door? I didn't ask the doubts in my heart. I just looked at the uninvited guest outside the door with a cold expression and said with the last bit of patience, "If you really don't know, then I'll tell you now, face to face. Su Yunjing, I want to break up with you." Did you hear what I said clearly? If you're really hard of hearing, I don't mind repeating it to you. No matter how many times you repeat it, I only have one answer. The man gritted his teeth secretly and looked at me with a cold and pale face. "Lin Ran, I don't agree to your breakup. I clearly didn't do anything wrong. Why do you say we're breaking up just like that?" When I heard this, I looked at Su Yunjing in surprise. I never thought that a person could be so brazen. While I was in a daze, my father's curious voice came from the kitchen not far away. "Ran. Who are you chatting with at the door?" "Dad, I'm not chatting. The milk tea I ordered has arrived. By the way, I just remembered that I forgot to pick up a package. I'll go downstairs now." As I spoke, I mercilessly pushed Su Yunjing away from the door, walking out of the house expressionlessly. I got on the elevator by myself and said to him with a cold face, "Don't disturb my parents. Let's talk outside if you have anything to say." 10 minutes later, in the corner of a Western-style restaurant near my home, I sat face to face with Su Yunjing. He spoke first. "You've cut your hair." Seeing that I was still silent, the man who was always cold and taciturn praised me for the first time in a flattering tone. "The new hairstyle looks great. It suits you very well." Su Yunjing likes women with long flowing hair in order to cater to his aesthetic taste. I, who was naturally afraid of the heat, had grown long black hair that reached my waist for 7 years. However, during these 7 years, he never once fulfilled the casual promise he made to me, which was to braid my favorite long hair with flower patterns for me. At this time, the waiter brought the menu. Before I could speak, the man had already ordered dinner for 2 on his own. He said to me, "Lin Ran, you've lost weight. Eat something to fill your stomach first. After we go home tomorrow, I'll take you to a really good restaurant." I was really amused by him. "Go home, Su Yunjing. Have you forgotten that we were just in a simple romantic relationship? We're not married at all." When he heard me say this, Su Yunjing gave a sneer as if he had seen through everything. "Lin Ran, we've been together for 7 years. If you want to marry me, you can just say it directly. Do you think I'll disagree? You really don't need to waste each other's time and do all this now." I pinched my cool forehead. I opened my phone, brought up the employment contract with the rival company I was going to join, and placed it clearly on the table for him to see. As I expected, the man's entire handsome face turned pale as soon as he glanced at the content on my phone. Su Yunjing hates betrayal the most in his life. Whether it's at work or in his personal life, he can always implement the principle of once unfaithful, never used again. I crossed my arms and said calmly, "General Manager Su, I know you have a strong sense of pride, even if you have no feelings for me. It's hard for you to accept the words break up coming from me all of a sudden. Since that's the case, I'll now give you the opportunity to take the initiative to break up with me, and no matter who asks in the future, I'll say that you dumped me. Are you satisfied with this?" Time passed by minute. Since I didn't get a reply for a long time, I was really too lazy to waste any more time. When I made a move to leave, the anger on Su Yunjing's face immediately turned into an unmaskable panic. During our 7-year relationship, He spoke to me in an apologetic tone for the first time. Lin ran, don't leave yet. I know that I've been too busy with work and have neglected you in the past few years, so you've done this stupid thing. It doesn't matter. I won't blame you. It's just a matter of paying some liquidated damages. As long as you promise to go back with me tomorrow morning, I'll pretend that nothing happened. Ran. I really miss the food you cook. When he mentioned the food I cooked, I remembered one working day morning 2 months ago when Su Yunjing suddenly sent me a message asking me to make a portion of spiced plum spare ribs. On that day, I was suffering from menstrual cramps. I rode my bike under the scorching sun to the nearest farmer's market, bought the freshest spare ribs, and returned home with pale lips. I raced against time to cook a nutritious spare rib lunchbox before the lunch break at noon. When I arrived at the door of the office on the top floor with cold sweat on my head and weak legs, Su Yunjing and Jiang Yu happened to come out. Seeing the lunchbox in my hand, Jiang Yu happily snatched it and said in a delicate voice, "Thank you so much, Sister Lin Ran. My little cutie likes the spiced plum spare ribs you cook the most. The second favorite is the braised pork spare ribs." Little cutie was the pet dog that Jiang Yu kept in the company. Seeing Jiang Yu feed the lunchbox to the dog in front of me, Su Yunjing only said to me, "Jiang Yu and I are going out for a meal. Remember to clean up after little cutie finishes eating later." Remembering this, I looked the man straight in the eyes and said clearly and unhurriedly, "Su Yunjing, I won't go back with you. The place where my parents are is my real home. In addition, I will never marry you because I don't love you anymore." Su Yunjing was obviously taken aback for a moment, and then he laughed out of extreme anger. "You don't love me anymore. We've only been apart for less than a week. And now you're telling me that you've already let go of your feelings for me." Lin Ran, "Don't you think what you're saying is ridiculous?" I looked at him with contempt in my eyes and didn't back down. "Su Yunjing, the really ridiculous one is you. You're clearly extremely tired of me and think I'm dispensable. You clearly have a soft spot for Jiang Yu and like her so much that you wish you could give her all the best things in the world. Why won't you admit that you've really cheated and fallen in love with her, deceiving yourself and playing the field, and then wasting my youth day after day? Do you think it's fun?" After being in a relationship for many years, Su Yunjing was used to my tenderness, consideration, and obedience, facing my reasonable and forceful words, which he had never experienced before. The man's face turned from red to green and then became very pale until all the ordered dishes were served and turned cold. Su Yunjing finally spoke in a hoarse voice, unable to hide his dejection. "Lin Ran, you've misunderstood me. I really didn't cheat. There's something I've never told you. I once had a younger sister who died prematurely. Her name was Su Xinyue. The first time I heard Jiang Yu call me brother, it was as if I was hallucinating that Xinyue was still alive. That's why I wanted to try my best to fulfill all of Jiang Yu's wishes. I know you must think I'm making excuses and coming up with reasons, but I swear I'm not lying to you." In order to prove that Su Xinyue did exist, Su Yunjing took out the only photo of him and his sister that he had always treasured in the hidden compartment of his wallet. Facing the man's earnest explanation, I just glanced down at the time on my phone and said indifferently, "What you consider Jiang Yu to be is your own business, Su Yunjing. In fact, whether there is Jiang Yu or not, I will still break up with you." Having said this, I stood up and had only taken a couple of steps when Su Yunjing grabbed my wrist. He said, "Lin Ran, we've been together for 7 years. Do you remember what you whispered in my ear on the night we got together? You said that you liked me so much and that you would always like me. You said that as long as we held hands for one more day, your love for me would grow a little more." Meeting the man's eyes filled with panic, I pried his fingers off one by one. "Su Yunjing, not to mention 7 years, even if we were together for 70 years, I could still dump you today without any psychological burden. From now on, you'd better not take the love words that women casually say seriously anymore." Upon hearing my last words, the hand that Su Yunjing had used to try to hold me back finally dropped. Ignoring the throbbing and sourness in his heart, Su Yunjing twitched the corners of his mouth at me with red eyes. "Lin Ran, don't worry, you're not as important as you think you are." After saying that, he directly bought a ticket for the fastest flight in front of me and walked out of the restaurant ahead of me. Looking at the man's disappearing back, I let out a long sigh from the bottom of my heart. Time quickly came to Monday. I officially joined the new company and started a brand new job in life. Those feelings of loss and disappointment that I thought I would never be able to let go of in my lifetime were quietly and quickly soothed and eventually forgotten under the healing power of time, family affection, and friendship. If I had to be picky and say what was not good about my current life, It would be that I might be so busy recently that I'm a bit neurasthenic. I occasionally have the strange illusion that someone is observing me in the dark. One ordinary weekend night more than a month later, I went to the KTV private room as promised and had a great time with my girlfriends and the relatives and friends they brought. After we played and fooled around for a while, I, who couldn't hold my liquor well, took the initiative to offer to go to the supermarket at the front desk to restock some food for everyone. I didn't expect Qingxia to follow me out. He is the cousin of my girlfriend Qingyun. I often went to Qingyun's house to do my homework when I was in high school. Qingxia lived next door at that time for a while. I even gave him free tutoring in junior high school mathematics. Before I could speak, the handsome and tall young man had already opened his mouth. I heard that you won't leave again this time you're back. I blinked and lightly poked his forehead just like when we were young. Wrong. Why haven't I heard you call me sister since I came back? Be careful, or I'll go to your parents' house and tattle on you next time. Upon hearing this, Qingxia must have recalled some interesting past events. He lowered his head and smiled, then stared at me intently. Lin Ran, you. Before he could finish his sentence, I felt a pain in my wrist. Suddenly, I was dragged staggeringly and fell backward with a strong force. However, I didn't really fall down. Instead, I fell into the chest of a man who was once the most familiar to me. Su Yunjing. Why are you here? According to the normal itinerary, the man should be in romantic Paris with Jianyu at this time, enjoying the joy and sweetness brought by their relationship. Facing my surprised question, Su Yunjing still looked at me expressionlessly. Lin Ran, I've given you a whole month. Even if you were really angry with me and had a feud with me before, by now you should have calmed down. After saying this, Su Yunjing gave Qingxia a cold look in a superior posture as if declaring his sovereignty. Just before I was about to curse at him for being crazy, Jianyu appeared. She was holding 2 ice cream cones. After giving me a malicious look and rolling her eyes at me where Su Yunjing couldn't see, she forced a fake sweet smile and said to me, Sister Lin Ran, Brother Yunjing has been hiring a private detective to protect you for the past month. He really can't live without you. Sister, you're so magnanimous. Just eat this ice cream cone and forgive Brother Yunjing and Yaya for our unintentional mistakes before. Okay. After a moment of silence, I smiled at Su Yunjing. Let me go first, and we'll find a quiet place to have a good talk. Upon hearing this, a flash of joy appeared in Su Yunjing's eyes, and he immediately released his hold on me. However, the next second, I did something that surprised everyone. I snatched the ice cream cone from her and unceremoniously slapped it on that despicable face. Jianyu's shrill scream made everyone around turn their attention to us. Seeing Jianyu with 1 ice cream cone on her head and 1 on her left eye, looking funny and screaming in pain, several onlookers couldn't help but laugh out loud. This wasn't the end yet. After slapping off the crumbs of the ice cream cone on my hand, I, who was often called by the parents for fighting when I was young, indifferently and promptly grabbed the long hair of Jianyu, who was trying to throw herself into Su Yunjing's arms to seek comfort. Jianyu, were your eyes twitching just now? Who were you rolling your eyes at? I didn't give Jianyu a chance to reply at all. In her incredibly shocked and frightened eyes, I slapped her 5 or 6 crisp slaps in succession, both with my right hand and my left hand. Jianyu was slapped by me until her cheeks were swollen and her nose was bleeding. Now her crying finally turned from fake to real, and it was so hoarse and unpleasant that I looked at her in disgust and threw her towards the direction where Su Yunjing was standing, like throwing away trash. The funny thing was that not only did Su Yunjing not reach out to catch Jianyu, but when Jianyu crawled towards him crying and was about to touch the hem of his pants, he frowned and took a big step back. Jianyu was completely stunned. She widened her tearful eyes, feeling shocked and heartbroken that Su Yunjing didn't even look at her, and walked straight towards me, looking at me with full sincerity and expressing his loyalty. Lin Ran, I've already made it clear to Jianyu that I've always only regarded her as a younger sister. Those inappropriate physical contacts that made you angry before will definitely not happen again from now on. Su Yunjing made a move as if he wanted to hug me. However, before I could react, Qingxia had already coldly protected me firmly behind him and said to Su Yunjing with a disdainful look in his eyes, "Don't act improperly towards her." Before Lin Ran agrees, before Qingxia could finish his words, Su Yunjing, with a dark face, wordlessly swung his fist that he had held back for a long time at the young man. "Who the hell are you to interfere in the matter between me and my girlfriend?" The young man took the punch forcefully, and the veins on his forehead burst out instantly. However, since punches and kicks have no eyes, in order not to affect me standing behind him, Qingzhe just sneered and rubbed the corner of his mouth that was stinging with the back of his hand. Qingzhe could endure it, but I couldn't. In front of everyone present, I directly stepped forward and slapped Su Yunjing. Then I looked at him with a look of disgust. Su Yunjing, if you're crazy, go to a mental hospital for treatment. Don't act crazy here and make people disgusted. The force of that slap wasn't actually that great, but Su Yunjing seemed to turn into a statue, standing still in the same place. He really didn't understand how someone could really let go of the love and affection accumulated over 7 years of day and night companionship just like that. Could it be that I had never loved him at all? How could that be possible? Whether it was friends, colleagues, or childhood friends and relatives, anyone who had seen me and him get along would envy and say that Lin Ran was really deeply in love with Su Yunjing. Even he himself firmly believed that as long as he didn't mention breaking up, I would stay by his side for the rest of my life. In the past, he had been so confident. In a trance, Su Yunjing heard me ask with concern if Qingzhe's face was okay. Out of the corner of his eye, he saw Qingzhe gently squeezing my palm with a look of distress and asking me if my palm hurt. Clenching his fists tightly, Su Yunjing's eyes turned blood red. He couldn't bear it any longer and roared at me. Lin Ran, I'm the man you've loved for 7 years. How could you treat me like this for an outsider? Upon hearing this, I was really amused. Su Yunjing, how many times do I have to tell you before you can understand that I, Lin Ran, don't want you anymore? Seeing me holding Qingzhe's hand and making a move to leave, the tears in Su Yunjing's eyes couldn't be controlled and streamed down. Lin Ran, Su Yunjing shouted my name heart-wrenchingly, but the strength he used to hold my wrist was so light that it gave me the ridiculous illusion that he regarded me as a precious treasure. Our eyes met. I had never seen such a lost and dejected expression on Su Yunjing's face. He looked at my profile humbly. I apologize to you, Lin Ran. I shouldn't have attacked your friend. I'm sorry, Lin Ran. I'm really sorry. You can hit me or scold me however you want. I didn't mean to make you unhappy. I just want you to know that I really don't love Jiang Yu. When the man said this, Jiang Yu, whose eyes and face were swollen, crawled to his feet in disbelief. Just as she was about to cry out, Su Yunjing actually stepped on the woman's face and kicked her away mercilessly. Lin Ran, I'll fire Jiang Yu right now, or I'll make her disappear forever. Okay, I promise you that I won't hire any female assistant in the future. I will definitely. Sighing inwardly, I interrupted Su Yunjing and said, you don't have to tell me these things. I really don't care. Su Yunjing was stunned for half a second, then gently shook his head, and his tone trembled involuntarily. Lin Ran, you do care about me. I know that you're just disappointed in what I've done in the past, but now I already know what I did wrong. As long as you're willing to give me a chance, I will really change. Su Yunjing, I'll say it one last time, I've already broken up with you. Having said this, I took Qingzhe back to the private room as if nothing had happened. We continued to have fun and dance. One late night 2 months later, I accidentally answered a call from Su Yunjing using an unknown number. The man had a half smile and asked me straightforwardly if there had ever been a child between me and him. The man immediately raised the corners of his mouth and turned to walk into the study. In addition to that, there were some faint whooshing noises coming from the phone. I thought that he must have seen the hospital medical records that I didn't take away. There was really nothing to hide about this matter, so I not only readily admitted it but also sincerely smiled and congratulated him. It's a good thing the child is gone. Su Yunjing, don't you always hate being tied down the most? There was a long silence. Beep beep beep. The man hung up the phone. It wasn't until near the end of the year I learned from the female colleague I had worked with before that Su Yunjing had an accident while driving under the influence of alcohol and had become a vegetable. However, Su Yunjing's parents were very wealthy. Even though the chance of their son waking up was extremely slim, they still didn't give up on the treatment. Ran, what's wrong? What earth-shattering gossip did my sister send you again? In a high-end restaurant, Qingzhe came out of the restroom. Seeing me looking down at my phone with a strange and dazed expression, he casually asked, putting down my phone. I smiled indifferently. Nothing. By the way, don't book this restaurant again in the future. It's expensive and the food isn't good. Next time we'd better go eat hot pot. Qingzhe held my somewhat cold fingers and kissed them. Okay, I'll listen to you. When we walked out of the restaurant, the first snow of the year happened to fall. Afraid that I would be cold, Qingzhe put his coat on me and once again stood under the streetlight with flowers in his hand to confess his love to me. The young man blushed at the tip of his nose and said a little shyly that it was said that as long as you confess your love on the day of the first snow, you can be together forever. Although I don't believe in forever, I still smiled and accepted the flowers. threw myself into his warm embrace, and said yes to him. Happy moments always pass by quickly. All I can do is not worry about the future and enjoy the present. As long as this moment is happy and free, that's enough. The end.